In Marvel Rivals, the Avengers are weak. That's right, I'm telling you that the greatest superhero team in this or any universe would actually struggle to hold its own in Marvel's official hero shooter. But if the Avengers aren't the best group in town, then who amongst Marvel Rivals' other iconic team-ups is? Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that knows that not all heroes wear capes, but some of them do, especially those that can be found in the sponsor of today's episode, Marvel Rivals. If you somehow missed it, Marvel Rivals is an epic, team-based free-to-play game available on Steam, PS5, Xbox, Epic, and now PS4. It's completely cross-platform, and it definitely puts the hero in hero shooter. You can play as one of over 40 different heroes and villains from across the multiverse and duke it out in 6v6 battles across various maps from your favorite Marvel franchises. Season 4 has just kicked off, and despite already having over 40 heroes to play as and enough content to fill Avengers Tower with, they're still releasing new stuff for players to enjoy, like new maps, new modes, new costumes, and of course, 2 new heroes. Thor's long-lost sister Angela, and everyone's favorite blind, butt-kicking lawyer, Daredevil. And it's playing as those heroes that really got me sucked into playing this game. The thought of playing as my favorite Marvel characters and teaming up with my friends to form my own 6-person squad would literally have blown my mind as a kid. To be honest, it's kind of blowing my mind right now. And so, when I first laid my eyes on the roster of characters, I knew there was one iconic team that I just had to recreate: the Avengers. So, I gathered 5 of my friends, and we each queued up as one of the members of the core Avengers: Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. I, of course, played as Cap, because, well, a Brit playing as Cap is just too funny to pass up. But once we booted up the game, we got absolutely obliterated. Again, and again, and again. And trust me, it's not because of our inexperience. We had a lead certified comic book expert with hundreds of hours in the game. The problem was our team. As it turns out, despite the volumes of lore from the comic books, TV shows, and movies, the Avengers just don't make a great team. But why? It's the freaking Avengers! If they're not the strongest superhero team in all of Marvel Rivals, then who is? That, loyal theorists, is what I aim to find out today. Who among the other legendary superhero teams is actually the strongest? So don your masks and capes, lace up those boots, and get ready as we find out which Marvel superhero team is truly worthy of hoisting Thor's hammer as the best team in Marvel Rivals. But before we can start analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of our other Marvel teams, we first need to stop and take a moment to unpack why the Avengers struggle so much to form a cohesive team. The short answer is, the team is horribly unbalanced. Heroes in Marvel Rivals are assigned one of 3 roles based on what they do best in battle. Firstly, there's the Vanguard. Their job is to occupy the front lines, absorb loads of damage, and clear paths for their teammates to come in. Think bulky characters like Venom, Groot, or the Hulk. Behind the Vanguard are the Duelists. Their job is purely to put out as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible, a la Spider-Man or Black Panther. And last, but certainly not least, are the Strategists. Characters like Loki or Jeff the Landshark act as support, granting buffs and healing options that allow the Vanguard to keep tanking and the Duelists to keep damaging. In order to succeed as a team in Marvel Rivals, you need a good mixture of all 3 roles, especially Strategists. Without any healing, you've got very little chance of success. And you see, this is where the Avengers really drop the ball. They're composed of 3 Vanguards in Hulk, Thor, and Captain America, and 3 Duelists: Iron Man, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. As you can see, there are absolutely 0 Strategists. So while the Avengers can put out a load of damage and soak up some hits, if the battle becomes a war of attrition, then the Avengers will be seriously lacking in terms of stat buffs and consistent healing. And when I say the Avengers are devoid of Strategists, I mean it. Even if we swap out some of the core Avengers with other heroes affiliated with the Avengers, like Black Panther, the Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, or Doctor Strange, none of them are strategists either. That's right, the literal Doctor isn't even a strategist. And so, without any strategists to call their own, while heroes like Iron Man can definitely do a bunch of damage and Hulk can smash a good path, like you can smash that subscribe button, as a team, they have too many holes to really compete as effectively in Marvel Rivals as they do in other Marvel properties. But if the Avengers struggle in the metagame, is there another team who has managed to excel in that department? If the Avengers are Marvel's most iconic team, then the X-Men almost certainly take second place. Surely Professor X, Marvel's ultimate strategist, could create a balanced team of mutants to dominate competitive lobbies. Well, in some ways, the X-Men might actually be even worse. Of the 8 heroes in Marvel Rivals with connection to the X-Men, Wolverine, Storm, Magneto, Phoenix, Namor, Psylocke, Magic, and Emma Frost, a whopping 6 are considered duelists and only 2 are vanguards. Yet again, not a strategist to be found among us. They might actually be more unbalanced than the Avengers. I didn't know that was even possible. But while team composition is important, there are other aspects of the game that might help give a team like the X-Men a bit of a boost. You see, in Marvel Rivals, some characters have what are known as team-up abilities. These are strong abilities that heroes only get access to when they are on a team with certain other heroes. For example, Storm and Jeff the Landshark have an ability called Jeff Nado, which looks exactly like you think it would, and it just wreaks havoc on the enemy team. And this is yet another problem with trying to create an all-Avengers team. They just don't get many team-up abilities outside of one ability between Cap and the Winter Soldier. Meanwhile, the X-Men are cooking when it comes to the insane team-ups. Emma Frost has a team-up ability with both Magneto and Psylocke that allows her to mentally link up with either of them to create literal clones of them that can kick butt and confuse the enemies. Meanwhile, Phoenix and Wolverine have a team-up called Primal Flame. Phoenix ends up imbuing Wolverine with her powers, allowing him to deal more damage, and he even gets the ability to steal health as he hits his enemies. He basically becomes a one-man killing machine, able to slice through the other team's lines. As a result, although they don't exactly have the most balanced team in Marvel Rivals, the X-Men are certainly a step above the Avengers. They're just not what I'd consider fantastic. Ah, yes, the Fantastic Four, the team well known for their problematic movie history. Until very recently, thank you, Pedro. But the question is their team as problematic as the X-Men and the Avengers, or did that cosmic ray burst grant them just enough power to beat them? Well, let's start with the good, the team composition. Both the Human Torch and Mr. Fantastic are duelists. Meanwhile, the Thing plays the role of the Vanguard beautifully. And, oh my goodness, look what we have here! Invisible Woman is our very first strategist of the day. We finally have a team that is able to fill all 3 roles. The team also has the ability to be flexible, and I'm not just talking about Mr. Fantastic. Oh, wait, actually, I am. You see, while Mr. Fantastic is officially labeled as a duelist, many of his abilities lend themselves to helping him play like a Vanguard, being on the front line soaking up damage. And of course, with a strategist on their team, the Fantastic Four have access to more disruption, buffs, and healing than any of the other teams we've talked about so far. Sue can conjure up barriers that debuff enemies, summon vortexes that draw unsuspecting targets in. Oh, and yeah, she can turn invisible. So good luck seeing her coming. But where Invisible Woman really excels is in her team-up ability, fittingly called Fantastic Four. When she is on a team with any of the other Fantastic Four, she can create a shield for them that also grants them bonus health over time. And if you run the entire team together, Mr. Fantastic, the Thing, and Human Torch can all get this shield, making them an unstoppable team for the exact challenge we're doing today. Ironically, the main problem the Fantastic Four has is, well, there's only 4 of them, which is going to leave them pretty underpowered compared to a team of 6. Fortunately, despite their name, in the comics there are other famous heroes that have at least temporarily been part of the team. During the era of the Future Foundation, Spider-Man was part of the team replacing a deceased Human Torch, so he's definitely got to be on there. According to in-game dialogue, Namor has had a past relationship with Invisible Woman, but I'm guessing that's not going to be great for team chemistry. Which leaves us with the Hulk, Wolverine, Storm, and the Black Panther. All of them have been part of the Fantastic Four at some point, and honestly, any of them could work, though I'd personally stick to Hulk to double up on Vanguards rather than adding another duelist. But regardless, there is still one big problem. Even with all those characters, Invisible Woman is still the only strategist. And as any player will tell you, trying to keep all 5 people alive as just one person is a bad time. Trust me, I know. Even still, so far, it's the best we've gotten. So I guess they are living up to their name. That is until I remembered one other team that may be worthy of being called the GOAT. Or should I say the GOTG? Despite being a scrappy gang of misfits, the Guardians of the Galaxy may in fact be the best superhero team in all of Marvel Rivals. Rocket, Star-Lord, Mantis, Adam Warlock, and of course Groot all have abilities that make them a force to be reckoned with. Mantis can heal allies and send enemies to sleep. Rocket is one of the best healers in the game, able to revive fallen teammates. Likewise, Adam Warlock can also revive teammates. That's right, they have not one, not two, but three strategists on their team, which may not sound like the most balanced, but actually it's incredibly powerful. Even if you do manage to knock down one or two of them, there's always another one to help them sprout anew. And not many casual players will have the skills to counter it. Then adding on Star-Lord's duelist status and Groot's Vanguard, and you've got yourself a stacked team. And don't get me started on team-up abilities, because they have so many. There's abilities between Mantis and Groot, Rocket and Star-Lord, and even one where Rocket hitches a ride on Groot's back for protection. But wait. That's only 5 members. I've already said that being short on members isn't an option, and with Drax and Gamora not being added to the game yet, who would their 6th be? I mean, we've seen Thor spend plenty of times with the Guardians in the movies, and Iron Man also joined the team for a short while after the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline. But my personal pick comes courtesy of the brand new Season 4 update, Angela. If you've never heard of her, she is the lost older sister of Thor, known as the Hand of Heaven. She's a warrior who embodies unwavering courage and determination, always ready to deliver divine judgment upon her foes. But just like Iron Man, she also has a history with the Guardians, joining them during the Age of Ultron storyline. And just like her brother Thor, she is a Vanguard, which is going to be a lot more helpful for this team than another duelist. Plus, she's a big buff sword lady similar to Gamora, so she's also a more natural fit from an archetype standpoint. But between all of their abilities and their team balance, it is clear that the Guardians of the Galaxy are far and away better as a team in Marvel Rivals than not just the Avengers, but any classic superhero team you put them up against. But you know what? That's the fun part about playing Marvel Rivals. You don't have to stick to the pre-established teams. You're free to create your own unholy 6-member squads. You want to make a team consisting of Jeff the Land Shark, Venom, and Squirrel Girl? Be my guest. And it's not all theorizing about strategy either. I mentioned a few small tidbits today, but in every season, all of the maps, costumes, and character dialogue are full of Easter eggs, and most importantly, lore. Like one of Angela's voice lines that refers to her having defeated many gods and elder beasts. Well, in the comics, one of those gods was actually Hela, who in one of the comic continuities is another daughter of Odin. Not technically the same as Angela, it's a complicated comic book storyline, don't worry about it. But with Angela being the Hand of Heaven and Hela being the goddess of Hell, it feels like a purposeful parallel, given that the new season focuses on heaven and hell, like having 2 new characters be an angel and a devil. Plus, Hela is in this game too, so maybe we're gonna see that mighty battle play out. Clearly, we're gonna need a team of super theorists to solve this one. So why don't you boot up Marvel Rivals and let me know what you find. The game is completely free on Steam, Epic, Xbox, PS5, and now PS4, and Season 4 just dropped Angela as a new playable character, with Daredevil coming very soon. Thank you once again to Marvel Rivals for sponsoring today's episode, and as always, friends, remember, that's just a theory. A game theory! Avengers, out!